We're up to video number 5 and point number 6. All right. Are we at field training yet, Sam?
Yes, sir, Larry. Actually, I'm going to kind of put these two together, which is field training and then the 7-point pushing up people. And I think they go hand in hand. After we recruited them, when you recruit somebody, you bring them onto your team. You don't just, take the paperwork and let them sit. We got to get them out in the field. We got to teach them the fundamentals of the business. You can do certain things in the classroom, but they really learn it on the field. And in football, you can do all the coaching you want in the locker room, but they got to go out there and get hit. They got to go out there and hit somebody. So we're going to take them in the field so they can see the real life scenarios of all the different things that we've been teaching them in orientation or, in some classrooms. Field training is where we will also find out a lot about that person's credibility. When we go into a house, I'm going to let them know that no matter what happens, I think we have a good appointment whether we close or whether we don't close if we learn certain things. And I let them know right up front that when we go on this appointment, I actually hope that we'll have a lot of objections, and they'll ask a lot of questions so that they'll learn a lot. And so because you'll see me overcome those objections, you'll see me how I answer different things. That's going to be good for you. If we just walk in the house and everything's great, everybody says, we want to buy, then that's great. We close some business, but they didn't learn a lot because they'll think that, all I got to do is go to the house and everybody buys. No. So I always let them know, we'll be more excited if we have to overcome a few things, but they're going to see how I build relationships. I want them to notice little things, and as we're going through that field training, I'm also going to, after each appointment, I think you then have to sit with that recruit to break down what happened, to make certain they understand why you said this, why you said that, what was the purpose behind, different things that you did. So I think it's very important to make certain that you are talking to your new person after the appointments to break down what happened on the appointment. And in the field training, my goal in field training is to push them up to the next level. So it's not just to go in the house. That's why field training goes along pushing them up. As they're getting trained, they must move up in the system to the next level. It's your job to help build them a team. So I believe if I'm training them, it's my job to get them 1 or 2 levels up by the time I let them go, because that way I want them to be a master copy. When I get through, they should be a little mini me, a little mini you, whoever's doing the training. They need to be very competent in all the different areas of the business so they can be independent, because to grow the business doesn't grow if I got to do everything for them. The business grows when I can be on the East Coast doing something and they can be on the West Coast, and we're both making things happen. We're in 2 different parts of the city, and things are happening in both parts of the city, and then we continue to mushroom and grow from there.
And the goal for your field training is to get them confidence, to get them as much of a team as possible, right?
Absolutely. I want them to be competent and have a team built, or the beginnings of a team, so that I can turn them loose to train the remaining part of their team that has not been trained. So they have to go out there, they have to be able to show they can do that on their own first. They can't practice with their teammates. They practice on their own market.
And you do this so they'll have momentum starting their career in management, right?
Absolutely. I want them to have success, have people to train. I want them to experience that magical thing called overrides, and they can't do that unless they've gotten elevated in the business and they've got people who are competent under them, so they'll generate overrides. Because, again, you want to get paid when you're not there. It's great to get paid when you're there. You'll always make the most money individually on a case when you're at the table, but you'll make way more money when you have a team of people that are creating overrides. And I think about the other month, I think I made one sale by accident the other month, and I was paid like over $120,000. But how many sales would I have had to do on my own to generate $120,000? I don't think it's possible. And so big money comes through building an organization and through creating distribution and creating competent people. As people come in, my goal is to always get that person, competent, licensed, competent, and independent. And I want them. Some people don't like people to be independent because their ego, they want everything to rest upon them. But I want that person. I don't want to be needed. Okay? I think if you need to be needed, you're not going to grow a huge business. I'm happy when things are happening and I'm not involved. That's where freedom comes from.
And that's why you don't mind giving them them the credit, pushing them up, and not enough.
You gotta turn things over. You gotta quickly as possible, get them involved in the process. So if I'm out doing field training, I also think it's very important. And my process is never to let them know when, but if me and Larry been out on 3 or 4 appointments, I'm gonna let we get in that next house, I'm gonna let the clients know, hey, this is Larry's first appointment, and he's never done this before. Matter of fact, he's pissed off at me right now for saying this, but he's scared to death, but he's getting ready to present. And I hope y'all will be easy on him, but this is his first time he's never done before. He's a little nervous, and here's Larry. And even though you'll give me that crazy look, you'll do the presentation, you'll fumble through it, and you will close every time, because once I've told the clients it's your first time, you've never done before, please help them out and support them. They will want to make you look good. They'll buy almost out of pity or mercy, but they will buy because they want to show that, hey, he wasn't that bad, was he? And I've just found that always to be the case. They buy every time.
Well, Sam, just to put a fine point on this, the goal on the field training, and I think this is something that people miss. The goal for field training is not to just stick them in a classroom and get them where they know how to answer all the questions, but they can be successful in front of people. They can feel confident in their own ability to do it, get it to the point where they not only have seen you do it, but where they're confident and competent doing it themselves. And you've already got them a head start by helping to recruit them some people, train some people, and already get the momentum going. And then at the right time, you turn everything over to them, but there's already motion. It's not like, okay, we got you some recruits. Of course, we haven't done anything with them. They're not licensed. They don't know anything. We've given you the minimum training, or we've been out 3 or 4 times with you. So, bam, promote you to district because you hit the checklist of guidelines, what we have on paper. And so now, yesterday you didn't even know what a district leader was, and today you are one. And people are like, what? What happened? And now what am I supposed to do? And then the upline manager is saying, what is it with these idiots? We trained them, they had this, they had that, and then they didn't do anything. And none of these guys think it's their fault that they didn't handle the transition right. But if you understand that, the goal is not to just check off boxes, but to get them and help them build that confidence in their own ability and their own ability to train other people and get them some momentum to where they can launch successfully and be productive. Well, then the upline training managers would take more of a hand in getting that person established. It's like if you buy a kid, you got a 4-year-old, and they want a bike. You don't buy them the bike and say, son, daughter, the bike's in the garage. Go teach yourself how to ride. Or watch me ride my bike. Watch me ride my bike around the neighborhood. And then, why haven't you ridden the bike? I got little Johnny the bike, and it just sits in the garage. What's the matter with this little idiot? He only wants to play video games. And at some point, you got to take more of a responsibility, don't you, Sam?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you got to step up and be a leader, and you want to train up leaders. That's what you're looking for, leaders. You're looking for people that want to take charge, and you don't get threatened when people want to step up. I see it's a good thing when people want to step up and be a leader. So I'm applauding that. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the person that can't wait for me to stop training them so they can get on their own. They've already figured out they're about 3 times sharper than me. And they're like, I cannot wait. Let me hurry up and get this thing down pat so I can get rid of Sam and I can really explode my business. And I don't have a problem with that.
And when you do this, again, back to the kid, learning how to ride a bike. When they fall down, you're teaching a kid, you put training with the thing is, when you go out and train for them, get them some people, train their people up a little bit, it's like putting training wheels on getting them launched. And then gradually you release them, that every kid is going to pick that up differently. Some are going to be fast learners, slow learners. The main thing is that they learn it, because once they learn it, it's like people say, once you learn how to ride a bike, you never forget. But the deal is you've got to learn one time. And if they fall down, get in there and help them. And maybe you took the training wheels off. Maybe you have to put the training wheels back on for a while. None of that matters. What matters is, do you get them to where they're up and running and functioning on their own? Are they riding the bike? Are they running their team productively, making money, training their people, building up people themselves? And until you do that, you're just kidding yourself.
So that, I think with Maxwell that wrote the book Failing Forward, John Maxwell, and it's so true that failing is just part of the process. And so falling down, whether it's, having people quit, it's really how you respond to failure. So I look forward to people having failure because I want to find out how do they respond to the failure. And so you fall off the bike, do you just sit there and cry and have a pity party, or do you, wipe the blood off and you get up and you keep riding, and you wipe the blood off and you get up and you keep riding, and eventually you won't fall anymore. But falling is just a part of the process. Failure is a part of the process of success. You never hear about anybody who was just successful without going through tons of failure first.
And you want to be with them. You don't want to be the guy who assumes they got a promotion, you've moved them in position, now they're going to be an incredible success, and then look down your nose at them when they fail. You got to expect them to fail and say, this is great, because now you can learn a lesson that you're going to use and be successful with the rest of your life. And so those early failures, if you use that right, can help them get their fundamentals down. You may have taught them the fundamentals, but they don't take them quite as serious because they don't know how important they are, as because they haven't had the chance of getting beat by them. But then as they get beat, then it helps them really get solid and get committed to these things. But it's never going to happen unless you stand in there with them and you get them back up on the bike and get them riding again, is it, Sam?
Absolutely. You got to be there to cheer for them. You got to be there to clap for them. And our job is really to just clap and say, hey, it's okay. I failed too. It's okay. I was way more bloody than you are. That happens, part of the process. You can still win. I still believe in you. Really, people just want to know, it's most important they believe in themselves, but we got to continue to believe in people, whether it happens for them right away, and most people it doesn't happen for right away. When I hear stories of quick success, that's just not the way it happens for most people. Most people come in and struggle. Sometimes I hear about people that come in, they just immediately just start taking off. I'm happy for them, but I do know that most people don't relate to that because that's not most people's story. Most people, a whole lot of suffering and a whole lot of lessons to be learned before they start to have that success, and that's just the way it goes. And eventually, even if you have quick success early, get ready. At some point in time, you're going to hit the same walls that everybody else hits, and you still got to be able to climb that wall and go through it.
Fantastic stuff, Sam. And the thing is, it just kind of shows pushing up people is more than giving them a pat on the back or an attaboy when they do good. It's staying with them and give them whatever it takes until they get established and up and running on their own, and being that support system for them. Thanks so much. Okay, we've wrapped this up, and we're moving on to number 8 on our next video, and we're going to kind of summarize things all over one more time. So thanks so much, Sam, on this. Let's get over to number 8.